Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. I'm with the brand. Today I'm talking about how merchandise has saved the music industry. I'm talking about T-shirts, tea towels, peaked caps, and other stuff. Yeah, that's it. We're basically T-shirt companies. We're not bands anymore, and that's how it is. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Yes. Still got that buzzing thing happening, so I'm just going to mute the guitar channel. Right, so an article in The Guardian has been published talking about how music merchandise is now a multi-billion-dollar business and it's influencing fashion and also keeping artists afloat. On the subject of influencing fashion, regard this Queen Hot Space t-shirt from the, I don't know, the touring that they did. Oh, sorry about that. I hope you didn't see my arse crack then. Right, I'll try that again. So it's the tour t-shirt from the Hot Space stuff that Queen did. But some of their best artwork, I think, and even the members of Queen themselves will probably say it's not their best record, but I love it. In fact, the faces from the album are the ones that I've got tattooed on my hand. That's how iconic it was. And I've got two of these t-shirts and I wear them a lot. Travis Scott's shows in London sold out in less than 2 hours, but when it came to profit margins, Scott also sold $1 million, that's £900,000 of merchandise at these concerts, surpassing a record previously set by BTS. With revenue from streaming negligible and the cost of living crisis meaning that ticket sales may be less reliable, merch provides a financial win for artists, and especially those not at Scott's megastar level, Lauren, the writer of the article, states. Why is that then? Why are people prepared to pay for it? Is it because in an age when music is now a service, I've talked about this before, as opposed to a product, and you're not, most of the time you're probably not inclined to spend money on physical format music because you probably haven't got, most people don't even have record players or CD players in their houses unless it's part of the PlayStation system. And so most people consume music by streaming, so an opportunity to actually own something and hold it in your hand comes at the merch stand at these concerts. Singer-songwriter Liz Lawrence has been producing merch for the last 5 years. She says that merch is now a key part of how she makes her living. When we look at a touring budget, we'll say, this should do the job if we make so-and-so in merch, she explains. I'm pretty sure the only reason we don't lose money is merch. Now, here's a tale of a band called The Darkness. Last March and April, we did a long 7-week tour in America. It was pretty grueling. It was poorly attended in places. In some places it was brilliant. And there was a lot of reluctance in the audience, but the merchandise absolutely flew. We sold more than we've ever sold. Normally you sort of have a figure per head when you're doing a show, and if you get 10 then you're in good shape. I think we were getting like 15 to 20, and it was really quite amazing to us that people were spending so much money on it. I think if you're going to go and see a band, then one of the reasons why you do that is to support them, not just to witness and marvel at them live. I think it's also just to make sure that you invest in something that's directly going to them, and merchandise is the best way to do that. Jordan Gaster, the head of A&R at Sandbag, says that merch has become much more of a priority in the last decade. Unless you're a mainstream pop artist, he says, artists are making more money on their merchandise than they are from a record. I think that's absolutely true. If you're doing touring especially. You know those 360 deals that they started talking about? Now it used to be you'd have a relationship with a record company, you'd have a relationship with a publishing company for the songwriting, and then you'd have a relationship with a merchandise company, you'd have a relationship with a touring agent. A 360 deal would be where a record company, and it usually is the record companies, would provide a service and support that encapsulates all of those, and when you recoup the initial sort of advance that they pay you, it comes from all of those income sources. If you're an old school band like The Darkness are, then all of those things are kept separate, and they don't cross-pollinate. It means that if you do a tour that isn't profitable, it's not as much of an issue because you can make it up with the t-shirts. Similarly, if you make a record and nobody buys it and the streaming is negligible, you can make up the difference with some merchandise through your merchandise shop. And it does seem to be merchandise that is saving the day, really. Merch has also become fashionable. Over the last 10 years, brands including Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton and Acne have included very expensive versions of band t-shirts in their catwalk collections. You'll often find that bands like AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, usually it's the bands with the sort of iconic logo type. And I've always thought that having a great logo is a really, really important part of the branding. That's one of the reasons why the Darkness's squiggly logo has been present throughout our career, really. I drew that when I drew it 20 years ago, and we've been using it ever since. I think it's, to me at the time, I was thinking about Aerosmith and AC/DC and these, how, when you're a kid, you try and draw those logos on your backpack in Tipp-Ex, and as a way of expressing yourself, and people are using band t-shirts to do that. I think it's awesome. Look at me, I look fabulous in my summer breeze. This is a yacht rock band from Kansas City, and this is Queen from England. Primark and Urban Outfitters sell t-shirts of Fleetwood Mac and The Doors to young people who might like the logo more than the back catalogue. They might not even be aware of the back catalogue. The Beatles capitalised on their mania the following decade with everything from wigs to Ringo dolls. By 1964, their manager Brian Epstein's company received 46% of all merchandise profit. Sounds like a good deal. The difference is that it was a side project, but not the main project of the Beatles. They were likely not even involved in being used for their cultural status by management and external companies. Yeah, I think in those days it was different. You had a lot of physical format stuff, and I don't think the Beatles can ever be accused of being like Kiss, who will put their logo, which is a brilliant logo, on anything and sell it. And they'll do it in a really shameless way. I mean, famously, they have a coffin, don't they, which constantly plays Kiss records throughout the afterlife, so that you might rock out even whilst the worms are feasting. You'll be headbanging to songs like Do You Love Me? Really love me? Ow! That sort of thing. Stop nibbling at my flesh as it peels from my torso. And even though merch is now part of music's culture and economy, artists are still forced to compromise on revenue. Some venues take 25% from the sales of merchandise at gigs. Can you believe that? Those are when it's a concession stand and they have their own people selling it. Everybody's just trying to... I mean, that's the thing about being a musician. You're surrounded by fucking piranhas. Just kidding. I love those people. I'm just having a bit of fun. But it's true. This has caused friction between parties. In an interview with The Independent last month, Brighton band The Big Moon explained that they sold merch at a nearby pub after an argument with a venue asking for 25% of the sales. Merch is actually the main way that you make anything, said singer Juliet Jackson. And then to have venues go, oh, we want that too. I'm like, give me 25% of your bar takings because everyone's here to see our band. That's actually a great attitude. Comonibo says that for fans, wearing something created by your idol remains irresistible. It sounds creepy, he says, but when you love an artist, you want to have a piece of them with you so you can be connected somehow. I think it's a bit of that, and I think it's mostly just because enthusiasts of music understand how difficult and perilous the existence is for people like us. The touring musician. We're mere minstrels. We've been reduced to providing a service for next to nothing, overlooked in nearly every way, and everybody wants a piece of our shit. I mean, literally everybody. It's difficult. But thankfully, t-shirts are stylish, comfortable, practical. You can wear them to job interviews. You can combine them with just about anything, and if it says a band logo on it, it says something about yourself as well, but not in that obnoxious way that like a Rolex watch might say something about you. It's just expressing some of your sort of cultural choices that you make, and God knows, in a culture vacuum such as the one we live in now, we need people to express themselves and say, yes, I support music. Regard, I'm wearing a t-shirt with my favourite band written on it, at the risk of sounding like Alan Partridge when he's describing his Crowded House t-shirt. But the reality is we need this stuff, and I think the nature of that article in The Guardian was saying, isn't it brilliant that he sold £1 million worth of t-shirts, £900,000 worth of t-shirts? But actually, that's a bit sad, isn't it? We're relying on that. I think maybe it's like, I think the percentage that a band makes from selling their own merchandise is much higher than it used to be if they sold like £1 million worth of records. That would mean that a record company was probably making about £9 million. So in a way, it's just a great way to put some money in the pocket of the artists that you admire. So keep buying t-shirts, guys. They look cool, and you can use them for gardening or sleeping in or just relax, anything. They're just, the t-shirt is one of the most versatile garments ever created, and when it's got a band's logo on the front, it's even better, isn't it? Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and go and buy yourself a t-shirt. Links in the description. Nice one, guys. Lots of love to you. And adieu!